Hello, welcome to my podcast on what kids need. And today I want to talk about trust. That our children need to be able to trust us and trust our word. And even though this sounds like such a simple thing, that when it comes to children, people have sort of got different rules with them. They tell children to tell the truth, but then they spend all their life lying to their kids. They have reasons they don't tell their children the truth. Some are personal reasons, some are protection, some are you're not old enough to know that, and some are control. But it doesn't really matter what your reason is for not telling your child the truth. You should be telling your children the truth. Yes, they are young. Yes, they might not comprehend everything, but there's always a way to tell them that what they think they're seeing and what you're saying is happening are the same thing, and that's why you need to tell them the truth. For example, if you've had a fight with your husband or your partner or even your family or your friend and you're upset and they say, "Are you all right, mummy?" and you say yes, this is going to be very confusing for a child. You need to get a child to learn to trust what they feel, to trust intuitively what they think, so they can read the world. So this child is reading that you're upset, but you're telling them that you're fine, but they're reading you're upset, and that's going to create confusion in them and that distrust of their own abilities to work out what's going on. And that's why it's important, because we want our children to be able to trust their gut instinct, to trust what they get, to know what they get is right. It's okay to tell your children that you're upset, that you're sad, that you've just had a fight with daddy and you're mad with him. This is going to teach them what the real world is like. They're not going to land up living in fantasy world where everything goes well. You didn't. So it's about time we sort of fessed up to the kids and told them the truth about life. And we can do it in a really, as I said in another podcast, in a really kind way. You can tell the truth kindly, and you can also tell the truth with comfort. For example, with the fight one, you say, "Oh, we've had a fight. I'm upset and I'm angry with Dad, but it'll actually be all right." When you're a grown-up, you have fights. You know that. You have them in the playground. So you make it a real thing and you give them comfort. The reason it's also important to tell them the truth is you want them to be able to trust you, to trust your word. So if you're saying that everything's okay and there's been screaming in the house and fighting, and they were lying in bed listening to that, and then they know that you're lying to them. And parents think it's okay to lie to their kids. They do it all the time. Parents are always lying to their kids. And if you're a parent, don't lie to them. Shield them a bit. Tell them the short version. Don't get them not to be able to trust what they get with what their reality is. Children are very intuitive. They pick up a lot of stuff. They use that because they don't have a lot of mechanisms at the beginning in communication, so they have to do it by non-verbal means. And they say, I've read somewhere that 98% of what we pick up is non-verbal. So your children are going to be picking up stuff all the time, and if you tell them something different, they will know on a deep level it's not true, and then it becomes like a lie. Also, don't lie to them outright about things. For example, if grandma's sick and you know she's dying of terminal cancer, you might not want to tell them exactly in that way, but when they say, "What's wrong with grandma?" you don't say, "Oh no, she's okay." You've got to say, "Grandma's a bit sick right now, and we're a bit worried about her, and we're just going to take care of her and try and make her life happy because she's an older person." And sometimes older people, they don't live as long as a person who's 10 years old. A 70-year-old won't live as long. And you just talk to them like that. But at least you are talking and you're keeping open, honest dialogue. You might have one of you in the relationship, one of the parents who does this, is very open and upfront with their kids in a kind and good way. You might have another parent who doesn't want to tell the truth, and there can be problems between how you both communicate. But the child will soon work out if they I don't know what the truth is. They know which one to go to in the end, and they'll go to that parent. And their relationship with you will be stronger. If you're really honest with your children and tell them the truth, your relationship will be honest and truthful, and they will trust you. And because they trust you, your long-term relationship with them will be good. People hate being lied to, even 4-year-olds. So don't lie to them anymore. Tell them the truth, but find a way to do it in a really good way. It is also a part of you owning what's going on. For example, when I was teaching, I'd had this massive row with my husband in the morning. I got to work, I had my class there, and I walked in, and I was obviously not in a good space. And I just said to them, I've had a big fight with my husband, okay? So I'm going to be a bit weird today. So just be nice to me and be patient with me. And it was sort of cute, really, because they were my class for the year, and they knew me and I knew them. I probably spent more time with them than their parents actually did. And then later on, when we were watching a special educational TV program, there's a knock at the door, and the person walked in with a big bunch of flowers, and all the kids laughed. And I said, "Oh, he's saying he's sorry. He's saying he's sorry, Mrs. Edwards." So it was kind of cute, really, but it bound me to those kids more. And then because they could see straight away there was something wrong, then they knew that their intuition and their insights were valid, and they could trust themselves because I validated that. When you tell your children the truth too, it kind of sets you free because you don't have to put up the big lie. Sometimes there are things that are a little bit confidential, but you can tell them the truth in a way that you sort of don't tell them exactly the words. For example, if grandma is dying and we don't want to tell the children quite yet, you can just continue to say that she's very sick. And if they say, is she going to die? And you say, well, we think she's really sick and we're a bit worried. You can actually say it in a way that'll actually work. Tell your children the truth as well, because they will then know what's happening. They will know where you and the relationship is, and that will make them feel actually more secure. It's important to tell them the truth because they will not go away and be worried, because children will churn, go away and be churning and get anxious because they know there's something wrong and everyone's lying to them and telling them something which doesn't go with how they feel. So you take their anxiety away, because knowing there's something up and everyone's not telling you the truth and you feel a bit shut out is not a good feeling. But knowing that something's up and you've been told what it is in a kind and comforting way by your parents is actually a good feeling. And then you'll find that they come to trust you, and then later when they're a bit older and they need to come and tell you the truth, maybe some truth that they have to fess up to something, they will feel more secure to come and tell you, because you've got already a truth relationship between the two of you, and that's what you really want to establish. It's more important that your children trust you and trust your word than protecting other people or protecting the situation. You're not really going to protect them because they can feel it, you see. Children will know when something's up straight away. They'll feel it because they've got a little radar, and they use that radar to work out whether mum's in a good mood or dad's. You go and ask him now about more pocket money or not. Kids know this stuff. They're very tuned in because they've had to use other parts of their psyche to get information, because maybe their communication isn't so strong, particularly at the beginning, but they will know that there's something up. So don't lie to them. Tell them the truth in the way that you think you can deliver it, so that they are validated, because that's what you're doing. You're validating them and getting them to trust themselves, to trust what they get. Because we've all done this. We've walked into people's houses and thought, oh, something's up here. And then the people are acting all nice and they didn't have a fight, and you're thinking, wow, it's a bit of tension around this house. But we know as adults to trust that, and we know that the game's being played. But with children, they will have the same scenario and you tell them everything's fine. It just creates anxiety and confusion in your kids. I'm a great one for telling the truth. It's hard, the truth is hard, but then the truth is the truth, and then you can find a way to handle it. And also, if you are going through a tough time and in your relationship and your children see that, they'll often want to give some support. Or want to make you a drink or ask you if you want your hair brushed or something. Then children can actually learn how to support other people who are going through a bit of a rough time, and that can only be a good thing for their future. So tell the kids the truth, find a way to do it, and you'll find that your relationship with them becomes stronger and stronger, and this will serve you well, both of you, for the future. So I'm sending you lots of love and healing, and enjoy those beautiful children. You're so blessed to have them.